Hey, Nate just joined us. Nathan, how you doing? Nathan Oakley. The infamous Nathan Oakley. What's up, brother?
Infamous? Oh dear, that doesn't sound good.
Hell yes.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. I was gonna sneak away.
Too late.
Oh, really? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to expose you.
Casting you. So I was in P Mars's chat, and somebody mentioned. I think it was Kristen Wolf said about an asexual. The subject of asexuality came up, and I said, "Oh, I've got a good story about that." And I said, "Oh, I'll tell it. P Mars, show me the link, and I'll tell it," thinking that it's P Mars's show, and it'll probably get taken down. And
oh, my bad.
I'm here. I don't want to tell it. It's not at all appropriate.
Yeah.
Oh, I see how it
It's
is.
all good.
Well, I was thinking, to answer your question about universal truth, I think there is universal truth, but I think like human beings we're flawed, so we're probably not qualified to tell other people what the truth is.
Right.
I would say that.
So you don't think we can share truth? You don't think we can know truth ourselves?
I think you kind of have, like, I look at it as like I have my own truths, my own little world that I live in, and it's different. I feel like everyone has their own beliefs, and they're different. So I don't know. I don't think I'm 100% right. So
Right.
why would I try and like tell people what I believe is the universal truth, or I'll share my opinion if someone asks, but because that's where I have an issue with the whole, like, I think the reason humankind is in this situation is because we like let other people tell us what to do, right? And we don't take authority for ourselves. We basically want this like big daddy. We want to act like children in the system and have the system take care of us. So like I think not believing in yourself and that's the way to go. And it's all about, I think, like, it's better to have a bunch of variety of beliefs too. So that's another good thing in case like one of them's flawed. Or natural selection will take care of bad ideas or something. The more that ideas that are around, the more likely for survival.
You think there's a fear of being wrong, or why is?
Oh yeah, totally. I think of like the education system indoctrinates us and brainwashes us, and it's all about getting the gold star, being right.
Yeah, getting an A on the test. Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah, I think that like brainwashes people they have this need to be right, and they're almost embarrassed if they're wrong. Like, I've said things, I'm going to say things in the future that are wrong, and I've definitely said things in the past that are wrong, and I'll go back and correct myself if I find out, but it's not, so I'm not embarrassed to be wrong. That's, if I was, I probably would have never gotten on a flat earth panel in the first place.
Good point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I can give you a universal truth, and I always tell you this, and you're probably gonna get mad at me. You experienced the Earth flat, if you like it or not.
No, I don't. You can't tell me what I experienced. That's the problem, vegan. You can say you experienced it flat if you want to, but I experienced a curve.
Well, tell me how you
interpret
experience it. Do you experience it? Do you experience it as a globe?
Oh yeah.
How?
Oh God, not again.
You know we've been through this once before.
Yeah, we've already been through this. Well, I flew halfway around the globe to the opposite side. So I experienced that. I experienced seeing different stars in both hemispheres.
Hold on. While you flew, did you experience curvature?
I wouldn't expect to, though. Like, have you seen like this?
Not what
of course not. I wouldn't expect to. I mean, I could see it in the plane. I think if I took a picture out of the plane and I measured it, I could see it. So
you don't have anything tangible to back up that you experienced the Earth as a globe. You just believe it.
I could produce it. Like, if I really wanted to, I could measure it. I could go up in a plane and measure the curve if I really wanted to.
Okay.
Can't. I mean, that's part of the concession that part of the heliocentric model. They'll be quick to confess that as a commercial passenger, you cannot get high enough in altitude to visually see the curvature. That's something that I used to fantasize about when I used to travel around. I'd love to get higher.
You can see it, but you can't like eyeball it. Like you need to measure it with like a measuring device.
Science says you got to be 100,000 feet up in the air.
No, 35,000 feet. 35,000 feet, you can see curve.
Which may be
so
why
people
they
that fly
did it.
planes can see it. I have many friends who've flown planes that have seen it. So
They're just wrong.
okay, well,
I mean,
I think
no,
you guys. I think you're all wrong.
It's not even that. It's not even that. It's the fact that your guy Neil deGrasse Tyson says you can't. That's the real
I don't
issue.
care what he says.
So you're
Like, he's not my
I'm
guy.
just saying.
That's not my guy.
okay.
I don't like
all
Neil
right.
deGrasse. I think he's a fake genius.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. Are you saying that when you were on planes that you looked out the window and could see it through the window? Is that what you're saying?
No, but I've seen pictures of people on planes looking out the window and seeing it.
Wow. That's
Would you think that
I have no reason. I have no reason to disbelieve all of mankind. You know, like and believe a couple of kooky people on YouTube.
Sure, but you said you did the flight yourself. So when you looked
From being
out
insulted.
the window, did you see the curve when you?
I mean,
looked out?
dude, you believe in flat Earth? Come on.
Well, that's the only reason.
But that's the definitive argument, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I
that's
mean,
not-
I'm telling you, I have evidence, but you guys deny it, and that's fine. Deny the evidence, but
No.
I
that's
believe
not
in us
evidence.
here because of all the mountains of evidence, the visual evidence,
No,
I'm not
there's no.
saying
the
that.
fact that I've experienced it. You know,
No,
all this
P-Mar,
stuff.
P-Mar,
My
you know
six
I don't do
senses.
that.
You only have, first of all, you only have 5 senses. I have 6, so
Yeah, sure.
right there, that should tell
And you have
everyone
your special globe
that the Earth
sense.
is a sphere.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Hey,
sure.
hey,
that
P-Mar,
P-Mars is
P-Mar,
just
I would never do that to you.
he
No, I'm psychic.
He conceded.
I went in an out of body experience, and I went up into the atmosphere and I
sorry.
saw the curve for myself. I experienced it.
P-Mar,
People have out
you
of
know I would
body
never.
experiences.
You did
P-Mar,
though. You conceded.
So did I.
It's not a lie.
It's not a globe.
P-Mar,
Doesn't
everybody's
matter. You
defensive.
can see it like a globe. It's not.
People have out of body experiences.
I would never do that
Yeah,
to you.
so did
P-Mar.
I.
No, I
And
won't.
it's not a globe.
Okay.
All right. You forgot the question, P-Mar. Did he leave? He didn't leave, did he? Hey, P-Mar, I'm not doing got you stuff. I'm not trying to do that. I asked the question of, I made a statement and you vividly disagreed with me. I said we all experience the earth flat, right? And you said, no. But then you say, of it. You're not talking about your experience. You're not talking about your experience. So I'm asking the question again. Have you ever experienced the earth as a globe? That's all I'm asking.
Okay. Well, I see where this is going, and I feel like you feel like I haven't experienced it for some reason, and I think that's incredibly arrogant for you to tell me what I've experienced. And I'm going to tell you all, I've experienced the globe honestly. So I think it's weird
Okay.
you guys think it's flat.
Are your glasses
Right, I get that
fish-eyed?
part. But have you? What example of you experiencing it? Are you saying because you saw a picture? Is that what you're saying your experience is?
Yeah, I've heard people talk about it.
Or are you saying you take?
I've heard people that have gone up. My friends have gone up in planes and seen it.
Okay.
There's pictures of it.
Okay,
There's,
and
I can measure it. There's satellites. There's
I will back off.
we can see the curve on the view of obstruction. We could go up on a mountain and probably measure it. There's like,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I will back off on that question. Just to get an understanding of what you consider an experience to be. You're saying because you have visual evidence of it, experience for you to say that I'm wrong when I say we all experience the earth flat. See, when I say it, I am talking about without a third party. When we're just traveling in a boat, or we're traveling in an airplane, or in a car, or walking, or a bicycle, or whatever, when we are tangibly engaged with this world, we never experience.
No, we do, because we see obstruction. We witness it on the horizon. Obstruction. That's the curve.
But
So we
that's an
witness it.
assumption, isn't it?
No, it's
Isn't that an
not.
assumption?
No, it's the
Okay.
curve.
No, when you
This is-
zoom
this
in,
is
it's
Everyone
gone.
everyone on this panel has seen the curve. You just
No,
don't.
this has been
No,
debunked by
you
Zachary
keep
Sparrow.
saying
Good
It hasn't been
Hey,
debunked.
I
I've looked
got
at all the
it
videos.
has been. When you zoom in, it's
No,
gone.
no.
Yes, when you zoom
I've
in,
looked at
it's
all those
gone.
videos. I've proven
Yeah,
them all
all
wrong.
those
I
videos,
can
when you
debunk all
zoom
that
in, it's
stuff.
gone. Yeah, you can debunk everything, but it doesn't make it
Yeah.
true. When you zoom in, it's gone.
Yeah, well,
PMAS
I have
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah,
He's
sure.
already
You-
conceded.
You don't
So-
have any pictures of a flat Earth. I have many pictures, so it's like, where are you coming from?
Well, every time
I
you
have a
look at a
question.
horizon,
If you're standing on the beach at the ocean, couldn't you hold a string out and hold it level? Wouldn't you see the curvature from that?
Probably, I don't think so.
you don't think we can see far enough?
You don't think so, but you're sure. But you're right.
It'd work better if you went on a mountain.
Does anybody? Yeah, exactly. Does anybody live by a mountain or an ocean? They can
Yeah,
do
I've
this.
been on mountains. I've
You
done
can just
it.
go
It's still,
go out on a boat, and then when you come back to shore, right, you'll see the mountain before you see the beach. That's evidence. That's the obstruction. We live on a curve. Bam.
No,
Proven.
when you zoom in,
Now you don't have to
when
be
you
far.
zoom in, it's gone.
Can I just say
There's
something?
no curve.
You can't. No, you cannot bring things back that go over the horizon. That's
No, when
incorrect.
you
You
zoom
cannot.
in, it's gone.
That's not true, Arwen. Though.
It
You
is.
say that.
There's
but
visual
it's not
evidence
true.
of this everywhere.
There isn't, Arwen. All those
Yes,
videos
it
are
is.
wrong. No, because those
Yeah,
you're
the
talking
video.
about-
No, that's what
No,
you
Arwen.
see. It's what you
No,
see.
Arwen.
What you see is what's there.
I've watched
When
those
you zoom
videos.
in, it's gone.
They're very disingenuous because those videos don't show the boats go over the horizon. They just show them go out of visual range
They
and then they
do.
zoom back in on them. They're
No.
not show. They're not. You can't bring something that's gone over the horizon by zooming in on it. That's not true. That is ridiculous.
Hey,
Can I
hey,
just have
Lamar.
one thing?
hey,
Please,
P-Mar.
please,
Hey, P-Mar.
please.
Real quick, I'll ask you a question. I know if you've traveled around the world, I know you've been up in the mountains, brother. Have you ever been up in the mountains and looked at an ocean, for example?
Not really. No.
A vast open area from a high altitude?
I remember looking at like a valley, but it's not really that vast.
Okay. See, that's part of the problem. You can go on a very high altitude and look out at the horizon. Dude, it's flat. You can't see it from any ground level position. How do you look at it? The horizon is straight as a ruler. I mean, you think all these people are challenging this and they haven't at least tried that much? We all have tried that at a minimum, you know? So if there is curvature, to your point, you got to get up really fucking high to see curvature, and science even says that.
Yeah.
You got to get real high.
Did you guys see?
And I'm sorry.
Very, very high.
There's a new viral flat Earth video where a guy he flies from, I think Carolina somewhere to Seattle,
Uh-huh.
and he has a level, like a builder's level on the plane, and he's like, I didn't experience any curvature. It was level the whole time, and he's using that as proof that the Earth is flat.
Well, that's just one thing,
pretty funny.
Don't bank everything on one experience, But I come at it from experience. I think if it's curvature, we should be able to experience it. Never experience curvature.
Can I get a word in here? I really want to just say this.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The guy on the side, I don't know what your name is. I'm really sorry. But you said about David. You said about dragging out a plumb line, which is a very interesting point, because if what P-Mars proposes is curvature, the ground that lifts up between you and the thing that you're viewing, that is therefore, a hump that you're having to look through, and that you can't look through it, therefore it's blocking what you're seeing in the distance. Well, if that's true, as your man on the side, David, says, if you took a plumb line and you were to drag it out across that body of water, eventually, no matter if you kept it taut, it would eventually also be interfered with by that hump. And I would propose that absolutely would not happen. I mean, I haven't done the experiment, but I'm just saying you've got a good point. That's an experiment that could easily prove that what you're seeing rise up between you and the thing that's being obscured is not the water literally curving around a ball and obscuring your vision, as I've already said, been disproved anyway by Zachary Zabala. Good times for all. Shout out to you, my friend.
It should work because that's 6 miles, right? You should be able to see 6 miles within a few feet of that string. So that 6 miles should show the curvature. Wasn't that 6 miles that you said when they disappear over the horizon, ships?
Mm-hmm.
So you should be able to see 6 miles within just a few feet of string. If you were to hold it over the straight, over the ocean, you should be able to see a curvature. The string will be straight, but the earth will go under on each end of the string.
Yep.
I don't know how many feet of string you would need.
We all know damn well that over 6 miles, nothing's getting obscured. This is nonsense. I mean, that's what the math says.
Yeah, it's not.
I haven't researched string theory yet.
I just made it up. But you should be able to.
Okay. Well, again, there's some stuff that you can experience on your own. And when you attempt to identify curvature on your own with just your physical self, with any devices that you want to use, you're not going to prove curvature. You're not, you know? And since there's no proof, I can't accept the fact that there's curvature. I got to see some evidence of curvature. You know, if there's no evidence of curvature, I just wait for them to show me the evidence. And if they can't show me the evidence, it don't exist. And when they do show me, I'll say it exists. It's that simple. You know, it's not rocket science.
The curve is only there in the fisheye of the beholder.
Your statement is absolutely true, Vegan Warrior, and I was trying to say it, but P. Miles wouldn't let me, which is that when you make the statement that what we experience is flat, that is absolutely true, and it is conceded by any honest globehead. From their experience, they experienced flat too, and so did I as a commercial air traveller. I experienced flat because I wasn't high enough to experience curve.
Right, and that's honest. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong to say, you know what? I'm not up high enough. I believe there's curvature. There's nothing wrong with saying that. But when you can't even admit that no matter how high you go up or no matter how low you go down in your travels, the surface of this planet always levels out.
I got a question for you.
That's our experiences. Yeah.
That's not true, though.
So,
that's not true at all.
Oh shit!
Just to let you know,
Okay.
I mean, we can continue to gish gallop and say there's no evidence and there's no proof, and hold on and keep doing this. But really, like I said before, we've spent 8 hours going over evidence. You deny all of video from NASA and all that kind of stuff. We didn't even bring any of that in. Okay, we brought in observational evidence that is evidence towards the globe. And so, you know, you have like a logic redundancy or something where it's just like, well, you know, there's no proof that there's curvature. So, you know, until someone provides me proof. Well, like I said, you know, one of the shows, go and get some geodetic surveying equipment. You don't even need to go far with that stuff. And if at the end of the day you want to disbelieve that, then that's fine. But you can't go around and say legitimately that there's no proof of curvature when you don't do any observations. You're still saying that horizon always rises to eye level. That's factually completely false.
You're arguing a straw man right now.
I'm not.
No, I had a question that was what we
Hold
were
on.
about.
Hold on. Talk to me, Tim. Talk to me. Don't create a straw man. Do you experience the Earth flat?
No, no. Actually, when I'm in Denver, when I
You do not.
look
Okay.
west in Denver, I actually see the Rocky Mountains. So that whole logic is just ridiculous.
Okay, so when you see the Rocky Mountains, you've never been in a position where you experienced the Earth flat.
You're begging the
Do
question.
you?
Do you not understand
No.
that?
Well,
Yes, you are.
you're avoiding the question, and I understand why. We've
Well, you're
talked so
begging it.
many times. We've talked so many times, and you can't humble yourself enough to admit that you're not up high enough to experience curvature. Why are you just trying to win an argument? Why can't you be honest?
What do you
We
mean?
know each
So
other.
you're calling me dishonest, first of all, and you have
Well,
not
you are.
disproven a
No one.
word that I've ever
I'm not
said.
trying
You
to
just
I'm
attacked
disprove.
my
going to bed,
character.
vegan. This is. I am not in the
Okay,
mood.
bye,
I'm not
Arwen.
trying
No
to
one
disprove.
cares. Go ahead, vegan.
I'm not
Screw
trying to
you, dude.
disprove anything. You know,
I've been
I'm not
talking here
trying
for
to say
2
you're
hours, man.
dishonest.
Shut the hell up. Sorry,
Well,
not
it's your
you,
time to
vegan.
shut up while vegan's talking. So go ahead, vegan.
Tim, we're not up high enough to experience curvature, and you know it. So what are you arguing?
So when you say we're not up high enough to experience curvature, you're basically saying in that sentence that we would need to be higher to see curvature. Are you not?
Curvature exists, if curvature exists,
Have you ever gotten any
right?
geodetic surveying equipment? It would cost you $40. You could rent it for a couple or like a week.
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely not.
Well,
I've
so
never gotten any
are you in
equipment.
the pursuit of truth, or are you in the pursuit of creating a bunch of hot air about things that you don't know?
No, I'm laying out the evidence that
You have no evidence.
no one experiences the earth flat. That's evidence. That's evident.
No one experiences the earth flat. Now you just said that.
Well, I meant no one experiences the earth as a globe. That's what I meant.
Well, it's just a very basic misconception, and
Absolutely.
you just
It's
throw out
very
everything with that.
it gets no more basic than that. That is the foundation of our discussions,
So
everyone
who
that
are
we've ever
you
had.
to have such a
That is very basic.
basic argument? Who are you to have such a basic argument and start calling people cult members because they have a lot more evidence than you than just one simple, basically ridiculous argument, dude, that I just experience it flat. And like I said before, this isn't something that we wouldn't expect.
No. Don't misquote me. Don't misquote me.
Oh,
I
okay.
say everyone on the planet who ever existed experienced the earth in one way, flat.
How is that? Why do you even say that? I just said when I'm in Denver, I can look
Because
to
it's
the
true.
west and it's not flat. I'm all around places where there's a bunch of buildings. What do you mean it's flat?
The terrain changes, but it always levels out. You never experience curvature going down or up.
So
Your
how about
experience-
the curvature you can experience every single day? You could go to Chicago skyline. You could go and see a mountain from afar. You could go and see the sun set. Okay. So these things you would actually, if you're going to be deductive about this instead of being inductive about this, you would look at all of the evidence and not throw it out, not call everybody cult members and book readers and clowns and whatever. Because
I can get to that. I mean,
seriously.
Yeah, go ahead. We can get to that, but it's not about being in a cult right now. It's about admitting that we only experience the earth in one way, and that's flat.
Why is everybody
That's our
reverted?
experience.
Why there's like prerequisites now, like Dogmatic Dell just yesterday. You have to admit before we have a conversation that water is flat. Okay. So no,
But
I don't
true.
agree with your statement. I don't agree with your statement at all because first of all, we're standing on topography. We're standing on the extrusions of the earth, the land therein. Okay, it can do whatever it wants to, man. Go look at the Grand Canyon. Okay, is that flat when you're inside the Grand Canyon? I mean, it's just a dumb argument.
It always levels out. There's no curvature.
It doesn't.
It does. No matter how far down.
So how do you explain the sunset? How do you explain obstruction?
Hang on. No matter how far down you go, no matter how high you go, when you continue to travel, it levels out. It's always flat, and you know it. Just like I know it. We all know it. We never experience going over a curve, and we never experience going up a curve.
Because
That's our
that's a
experiences.
silly,
It
that's a
doesn't-
misconception for you to even bring that up. Like we're
How is
supposed to, because we're not 10,000 feet tall and we're not seeing 100,000 miles in front of us,
Shouldn't
bro.
have to be. If you hold the string 3 miles, is
Oh,
if
good
you're
Lord.
6 feet above the water, the ocean. You're standing at the ocean. If you hold that string 6 feet off the ground, you can see 3 miles from the horizon. So when you're standing there, 3 miles is probably no more than a couple feet from side to side. So if you hold that string, you're probably 6 feet tall. If you're holding it 6 feet high, you can have 6 feet of string. You should be able to measure some curvature.
Why do you have a 6-foot string in the first place? What does that even
Because
mean?
you're 6 feet tall.
What does the string
You're looking
represent?
for
What is
3
it? What does
miles.
it do for the
The
experimentation?
string
What is
is
the
a
string
straight
for?
line. The string is a straight line.
So are you talking about a theoretical or a hypothetical experiment that we could do that would
Experiment
prove
that we
your
can
faulty
do, yes.
premises? Or are we talking about real things that you've
We're
actually
talking
done?
about something that any one of us could do if we lived by the ocean.
Okay, so next time I'm by the ocean, I'll bring a string and I'll have no idea what to do with it at all.
You hold it
But, okay.
straight out in your arms, 6 feet off the ground. And try to measure what 3 feet is from left to right. And then you should see a curvature after that, because it says on this website that the curvature starts at 3 feet, or not 3 feet, 3 miles. Right here.
Dude, look, this is what I'm saying. That first of all, this is a very intricate subject. Second of all, people have tons of misconceptions about it. And one of them being that there is a difference between seeing the curvature of the actual Earth, which
Right.
if you could see 69 miles in front of you, you could see 1 degree of declination.
3
Okay.
miles.
But hold on. See, 3 miles. You're going to go with your 3 miles in your string theory. Anyway, dude, just listen
I
for a
think
moment,
the Earth is
please.
round.
Okay,
Okay,
but I'm trying to tell you
find
that
a
you're
way
not
that we
explaining
can
it
prove
correctly. You're not explaining it
Find above
correctly.
the surface is in feet. The distance to the horizon is in miles. If you are 6 feet tall and standing right at the water's edge, then your eyes are about 5.5 feet above the surface. The distance to the horizon is 3 miles.
It's not always 3 miles, first of all. It's not always 3 miles. But look, there's a difference between obstruction due to the Earth's curvature when you're on the ground, such as you see buildings being obstructed. Hold on. You see buildings being obstructed, you see ships being obstructed, you see mountains being obstructed, and then there's a difference between seeing the actual curvature of the actual Earth. So as I was trying to say, if you could see 69 miles in front of you, you would see 1 degree of the declination of the Earth. Easy as that. So there's a whole study, there's a whole field called geodesy where people take out very, very, very accurate stuff called levelers and all kinds of stuff that is very easy to prove even on land, even after a couple miles or a mile or even less than that there's curvature to this Earth. And if we're just going to go...
Mr. Osmond, please could I just ask you a couple of questions, because you'll have...
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you. So, first and foremost, you said in terms of the obstruction, this will be a statement, then it will be followed by a question. I'm sorry. So you said, well, how can you explain it? But we said just before you joined, and we've already had this conversation between you and I, you found fault with this, but there we go. It's an explanation. People can find fault all day. But Zachary Zabala showed the sun setting on a flat plane. So there's an explanation. Moving on. So your geodetic surveyors. Now, the counter argument that I've heard, which is, I'm a bit rusty, it's probably 6 months ago that I heard it, was if you have 2 geodetic surveyors and one stands at a random point and starts to survey out and he sees the curvature of Earth, and then you have somebody at the opposite end also doing exactly the same thing, what they'd effectively measure is a great big valley, according to what you would propose they are measuring. Well, I want to hear your count. Well, there you go. That's the counter argument. Feel free to debunk what I've just said.
No, it's silly. It's just kind of like Jeranism when he says, you know, when people, if you just traveled from New York, you had one person travel from New York, one person travel from California, they should end up in a ditch in Colorado. And that it's just an absolute complete misconception. It's probably most likely for his case when he said that he was using 8 inches per mile squared. So he's using a exponential equation to really, you're only supposed to do it for 100 miles, but it's all a grand misconception. And it, like I said, it's a very intricate subject. I know that I know a lot, but I know that also that I know a little, because it gets so much more intricate than this, and nothing that I hear from flat earthers is legit, dude.
That's fair enough. And the detail, I just want to get it correct. So the limit of this geodetic surveying is 100 miles. Is that what you just said?
No, absolutely not. I was actually saying the 8 inches per mile squared. They do not use the 8 inches per mile squared.
So, okay, so back to the original question then. So if you have the two geodetic surveyors with, I don't know what the limit is. I'm absolutely, you're right. I have not gone out and used geodetic surveying equipment to measure this myself, but I will trust what you say in answer to this question. If they were, as I suggested, pointing towards each other and measuring this curvature, would they not end up measuring a valley?
No, because when you're on a sphere, you're basically relative to the center of the Earth. So basically, we're on the same level as the center of the Earth, and that's how you have to think of it as a sphere. You know what I'm saying?
I'll qualify it slightly further. So we'll take the United States, and we have one person, a geodetic surveyor, measuring from east to west, and the other doing the opposite, measuring from west to east on the opposite sides, pointing towards each other. Both of them are measuring curvature going away from each other, but they are pointing towards each other. Why would they not measure a valley if both of them are measuring curvature?
Like I said, it's a sphere, and there's also topography added to when you're doing it on land.
No problem. Great answer. It's a sphere. Marvelous answer.
Well, like I said, it's relative to the center of the Earth when you're talking about a sphere. You're thinking of like point A to point B, you're going downhill, and you're thinking point B to point A, you're going downhill as well. It's just an absolute and complete misconception of a sphere, and yeah, it just is, man.
It's because we really don't have anything in reality to compare it to, because the whole construct of the idea that we live on a globe isn't something, we're all stuck to it, pulled towards the center of it, isn't something tangible in reality.
Not to you.
Well, to anyone. I mean, do you have you have an example of it?
I had a question I wanted to ask.
What? Hang on. What examples do we have out there that we can use as a comparison? Do we have anything?
For what? You're saying what other worlds can we compare our world to?
Well, no. I mean, we can replicate things, right? We can create constructs in laboratories to simulate various aspects of reality. What is the simulated replication aspect of our Earth? I don't think one exists, right?
It's really impractical, and really, I don't even understand why anybody would do it. I mean, really, what is the benefit of creating a world inside of a world?
Well, most of the time, that's done to have a better understanding. But if you don't think it's important, it's not important. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What we opt for is that we don't have a model. Are you literally conceding at this point, Mr. Tim Osman, that you can't have a model of the spherical globe Earth? Are you conceding that?
No, we absolutely have a model of the spherical Earth.
You just said you can't, and it's impractical.
No, I said that recreating. Nathan, you're smarter than this. Seriously, are you following these conversations?
You want me to go and read the definition of model for you?
But he was talking about creating a model of the Earth to replicate the Earth.
To repeat
I
it,
said an experiment.
Would you like me to read the definition of model for you?
Experiment of what? Experiment of what? Let me figure out what Vegan was saying first.
Really clear. Model of Earth. Is that simple enough for you? Don't you understand these words? Basic English.
No, actually, Vegan, what were you saying?
I mean, I was saying that replication to support your idea of how the Earth functions.
Okay, so that's why I said that was impractical.
It's impractical. I love it. love it.
mean,
He's talking about
recreate
gravity and such. He's not just talking about having a globe, Nathan. He's talking about having something so large that you would see,
No,
you know,
that's not what
water
I'm
stick
talking
to it, gravitational
That's not what
effects
I'm
stick to it.
talking
No? Then what do you mean by experiment
Well-
in a lab about a globe model? What are you
So
talking about?
Does the globe not need gravity? Does the globe
What-
not need that?
What does that even mean? Is that a rhetorical question?
No,
You're in the
saying
science
in
lab
your model-
creating globes? Are you kidding me?
The
in
game
your
is to
model,
win an
you
argument.
need gravity. I'd like to see it modelled. That's fairly simple. It's a fundamental
Gravity
part of
modeled?
your
Okay,
model.
well then go and do the Cavendish experiment yourself, or you can go and see it being done.
That's not a model of a globe. Why are you a
You're
moron?
arguing just
Why
to
would you
argue.
So
say
you're
model?
conflating the model with gravity. Why do you keep doing that?
Model of
I want to see
Earth.
gravity modeled.
Come on,
Then now
it's not practical.
it's a fucking
It's all
Earth.
right.
What are you
No
talking
worries.
about?
No need to get angry. You can't have one. It's impractical. I understand.
No, you're conflating what I'm saying, and anybody
just
with half a
asked-
brain can see it.
Yeah, I've got it.
Let
I've
me
got to
rephrase
bounce.
it.
It's 3 a.m.
Nathan, you totally
loved the
are doing
conversation,
that.
though. Thank you for having me. I've got to bounce. So it's
Yeah, that was cute.
work
Go to
more.
bed.
I don't understand what your problem is, Nathan, with this.
My
Because
I'll
like-
explain. I'll explain if you like.
No, man, it's
Okay.
ridiculous. Your position is like ridiculous. Like you want them to create a full scale model Earth so that replicates gravity and everything how it functions. Is that what you're saying?
That's what a model is.
Yeah,
But
that's what they do.
so-
That's what
That's
they do with a lot of
ridiculous.
How would you
Why
create
is it
that if
ridiculous?
you're on the Earth? That
It's
makes no
ridiculous
sense.
because
That's-
how the fuck would we have the material to
I
build
feel like I
something
should be-
even close to this scale, dude?
I feel like
So
I
let's
should be
get to my
playing.
point.
I should be feel
Let's
like
get to my
someone should
point.
play circus music when you say that, Nathan.
Let's
Seriously.
get to my point. Let's get to my
What the
point.
fuck?
My point is, if we have no model, we've not been able to replicate it. How do we know it's true?